Question 2. Kyron is flying a kite. He gets tired because flying a kite is so tiring. So he stakes the kite into the ground. So here's the string that comes from the kite. It goes all the way down. He puts a stake in the ground. The kite is on a string that's 18 feet long. So from the stake to the kite is 18 feet. And it makes a 30-degree angle with the ground. And we want to know how high the kite is. So anytime that we measure altitude or we measure height, we always go perpendicular to the ground. So that's why we have this right angle here. So if this is our angle that we're looking at here, then we want to label the sides of this triangle, opposite, adjacent, and the hypotenuse. I'm going to label the hypotenuse first. Okay, so if I make this right angle into an arrow, it's going to point right at my hypotenuse. So I know that this one is my hypotenuse over here. If I use this side and go directly across from it, this is the opposite side, which means that this is the adjacent. And the one that we're trying to figure out is the height. We want to know how tall this is, how high up in the air this kite is. So we want to measure this distance right here. So we're going to call this distance x. And we're going to use this function over here. So we know that when we use 30 degrees, the ratio is always, I'm going to say that again. When we use 30 degrees in this case, we're going to do the opposite over the hypotenuse because the one that we're trying to figure out is opposite. So I'm just going to call this one opposite over hypotenuse. And I know that the ratio for a 30-degree angle with the opposite over the hypotenuse is this 0.5. So I'm going to replace this with 0.5. The opposite is what I'm looking for, so I'm going to replace that with an x. And the hypotenuse is 18. So I'm just going to multiply both sides by 18 because that's how I would solve an equation with division in it. So I'm going to multiply this side times 18. I'm going to multiply this side times 18. Sorry for that funky 8. And these two 18s simplify to 1. And so on this side we have x, and then over here we have half of 18, which is 9. So the height of this kite is 9 feet.